For Arts and Adventure Summits the Airwaves, this is the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show with Johnston and Long.
And there we go.
It's not Long Johnston, but that's a different. We got to pay extra for that podcast.
Taking it right off today, aren't you? Not even gonna wait.
Not even gonna wait.
Should have been your closer, dude. You opened with it.
I don't know if I approve.
It was right at the start. I was thinking about it all day.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it was.
Since at least 2.
It's at least 2 o'clock. So there's that. I'm R. Brand along with Case Johnston sitting in for the one and only Todd Oberndorfer. Thanks, Case, for hanging out with us today.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
We are your hosts, co-hosts for the greatest arts and adventure podcast in all the land. And today we will be talking sustainability. The Intermountain Sustainability Summit will be March 21st. That is a week from when this podcast comes out, so next Thursday. And our guests in studio today are Lena Morgan, Intermountain Sustainability Summit Coordinator, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, big title. Lorenzo Long, Ogden City Sustainability, which Lorenzo said this was a new position from Ogden City, so I don't know what they've been doing the past 30 years. Glad to have you here, Lorenzo.
Thanks.
And then we have Bonnie Christiansen with Weber State University. Bonnie, what's your position up there?
I'm the Programs and Engagement Coordinator for Sustainability.
For Sustainability. Programs. Okay. Perfect. And then we have Shane Osguthorpe / Sarah Tolliver stand-in. We have 2 stand-ins here.
Yeah.
Shane Osguthorpe with Visit Ogden, also with a bookload of notes to talk about sustainability. So, Lena, let's start with you. You are the summit coordinator. What is that? What do you do? Like, you wake up and you're like, I need to coordinate summits for sustainability. Like, where do you start with your job in the mornings?
Mostly with Bonnie. She's at
With Bonnie. Oh, you delegating already. Yes.
No, I am Bonnie's assistant. She's a Bonnie Christiansen.
Christiansen, that's
Yes.
right. Not Christiansen, Christiansen. I remember spelling that correctly. So
I got to think about name pronunciation. So
correct. Yes.
shoot that out there.
IAN.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am still a student at USU, which I'm so close to being done. It's an AmeriCorps position, and I am here to help Bonnie with all things Summit because it is a huge job, and she has been doing it alone and magnificently for years. She's had other students help her, but it's a very fortunate position, and it's going to be awesome.
Well, Bonnie, you have help this year.
Oh my gosh. Well, and we've had help with AmeriCorps for a couple of years, but it's gotten better every year, especially since Lena's here. It's fantastic having her here. When she says, she's waking up and coordinating, it's a lot of spreadsheets. You wouldn't think that, we're going to have a party. And
Yay, spreadsheets.
It's like spreadsheets.
Yeah,
Who's
not
doing what?
not really my forte either. I've learned a lot about Excel.
Yeah. Just briefly, can we go back and just explain the summit, though?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I would love that.
Sure. So the Intermountain Sustainability Summit, Weber State's been hosting it formally since 2011. It was really started by a student, which I think is really great, in 2010. And it was a student who really wanted to talk about recycling. And so we brought together a bunch of people, about 60 people that were interested in recycling. And out of that event, they were like, you know what, we should be doing this every year. This is fantastic. And so folks from there started the Utah Recycling Alliance. And so for a while, the Utah Recycling Alliance and Weber State hosted this event together. And then it morphed into where Weber State has really taken the ball and run with it for these last couple of years. But it's an event pretty much for sustainability professionals, thought leaders, and emerging leaders. We bring people from business, government, nonprofits, academia. And that's one of the cool things about this summit is we're really bringing together from across sectors. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice because what comes out of that is all of these collaborations that people can work together. I know Lorenzo, we've been working with Lorenzo, and I know a bunch of other people around the state that are starting to work together. So it's a big event where we have keynote speakers and a bunch of sessions and then workshops. So there's a lot happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds amazing. Is it would you say it's the premier sustainability summit in the state of Utah, or I would say that if I were you.
Would you say that if I? Yeah, it is
no matter what,
the largest,
who cares
best.
No one cares.
No one's here to dispute you.
No.
Yeah.
Great.
And no one cares what other people think.
Yeah.
So, yours is the best, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, we're one of the longest, and I'm just going to say there have been summits that have been born out of this summit, right?
Oh, good.
Other people have gone like, oh, hey, well, we need a group for specifically this or specifically that, and so I think what's happening is it's growing, and the landscape is growing, but it's the one that I knew about first. I started attending this summit before I ever worked doing it.
Yeah.
And it was the thing. It was the only thing. And I think it's kind of exciting that there's things that are also popping up in addition to. So it's the best one to go to. Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
is that because it's in Ogden?
Of course.
Because Ogden is the. And Ogden's the best.
It is, and it's a place where people can come and let their hair down
Yeah,
that
yep.
come from other places.
Exactly.
Hey, I want to butt in here and say that it is the best one in Utah. And it is probably one of the best in the country. I would say this will be my third time attending this year. And the first time I attended, I was actually a student up at Utah State. And I was a freshman, I believe. And the summit really inspired me to take the path that I have taken professionally. So
That's awesome.
It's really, really good. So looking forward to it every year, and this year especially. So
Now, is this something that's open to the public? How do people get involved in the summit?
It's definitely open to the public. It's focused kind of for sustainability professionals. And so we're going to be talking about building electrification and buildings and things like that. And that's the main day where people come, and there's kind of a deep dive. We have people from municipalities that are looking at kind of what's next in sustainability. And so there's a registration process where people can sign up. The second day, the workshops, I think that's more accessible to anybody and everybody. This year we have this 2 workshops, and one is a permaculture design workshop that we're going to be hosting, and then the other one is by this fellow. His name's Rob Davies. He is a physicist by training, and is what he does. But about 20 years ago, he's like, you know what? I think I want to be. Took a sabbatical and thought, I'm gonna look at climate communications, right? Because he's like, we'll communicate it, we'll solve it, I'll be on to the next thing. Was his thing.
How's that working out?
You know, he's still working on that sabbatical part. No, he went back to work, but he's still working on this. But it's really neat what he's doing. So he's coming through, and he's thought long and hard about this, and he's like, well, what do we need to do? And he's like, we need to go beyond post-growth. We have to go beyond growth as our model of everything that we're doing. So he's running this post-growth workshop for businesses and community members, and that one's really exciting. We're almost full, though, so if somebody's interested.
You got to cap it, or that'd be too much growth.
That's right.
Where's the website? How do we find out information about, so that we all know where the classes are and stuff like that? Like, what do we search?
Yeah, if you go to weber.edu/IS Summit, which stands for Intermountain Sustainability Summit.
IS, okay.
IS Summit. Yep, you can find us there.
All right, Lena?
Can we put it in like
Links?
Yeah.
We'll have it in link down below. It's in the description. Just so you know.
And I just want to say, I think you're doing a great job sitting in for Todd. You might be fun.
Todd's hilarious. If you ever get a chance, listen to our 2 Truths and a Lie one, where it was just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
That was a solid 3 hours of nothing, really.
3
Nothing.
hours of
Thank you. I
nothing.
appreciate it.
2 truths and a lie.
I've sat here before.
Well, the first thing I think about on the outside is just someone who lives here. And when I hear the word sustainability and Ogden, is water and moving forward. And this is the funny thing. I was sitting in a hot tub in Vegas this weekend because, you know.
Because he has so much water down there.
As we do.
Yeah.
And no, with Californians, okay?
Yeah.
And they were complaining that their government there has not done anything to capture water in the last 10, 30, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
But so they had a really good rain or wet spring or something. And
Last 2 years,
last 2 years, and it all goes into the ocean or whatever.
Oh.
So they were very upset about this. And so as far as Ogden goes, what are we doing, or how is that water on the agenda?
Pulling the microphone over to me.
All right, I got this, Lorenzo.
Actually, just today, Ogden City the program kicked off. It's called the Rain Harvest Program. It's with the Utah Rivers Council, and Ogden City decided to participate this year. So that actually kicked off today at noon, and basically what that is an opportunity for Ogden City residents to purchase rain barrels at a subsidized price. The city's helping to pay a little bit of the cost of a set amount of rain barrels. There's 100 available, so who knows how many will be available by the time people are hearing this.
Lena's like 99.
We'll put out some social media content here maybe it's right now. I'm not sure. They're working on it. Our social media person is working on it, but it's a really good opportunity. It's something that we have participated in the past, but haven't for several years. And now we're coming back into the program this year and hoping that our residents will participate in it and catch some rainwater and use it to water their gardens, their lawns, whatever they want to. If you think about it, it's a 50-gallon rain barrel. It's got a nice little mesh thing on the top, so you don't have to worry about mosquitoes or anything like that. You might think maybe 50 gallons isn't a lot, and it's not, right? 50 gallons is not a lot of water. But if you think about all the people in the city that are buying rain barrels and you kind of sum that up together, it is, it's a larger impact. So I think it's a really cool thing the city is doing. And like I said, it's just starting today, so we'll see how it goes, and I'm hoping it goes well.
That's citywide, not county.
Citywide. Okay. Although I do know that Weber County Commission is participating for people that are in unincorporated areas, which
That's where
I don't know what all of all are, but
we're in the woodlands, Highlands, which we're unincorporated.
So you'll have that opportunity through them, and then North Ogden is participating as well, and a bunch of communities south of us. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be like if I got one for my neighbor, just kind of put it over in his yard? Because
hey,
I don't love his water usage.
Hey, you could try. You never know. You never know.
That's awesome, though. We would grab one of those in a heartbeat. That is really cool.
You know, it's something really nice about those rain barrels. I have one at my house, and if you're on secondary water, it doesn't turn on until a certain point. Mm-hmm. But I've got a big bucket full of water out there that I can use before and after the water turns on and off outside. So it's pretty nice to have it just for your own use.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Bonnie, what are some of the other hot topics for sustainability in Ogden? I mean, you had a lot of notes, so I didn't know if that was
lots of notes. But, I think one of the big ones for me that I have kind of watched come through the pipe is the...
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Is the water pipe. But it's the... Community Renewable Energy Program. I mean, I think that's something that people don't maybe know a lot about, but there was this, in 2019, there was a legislation that let communities decide if they wanted to do net 100% renewable energy. And Ogden was really forward thinking and kind of got on the bandwagon to take a look at, hey, this is something that we might want to do. And they had to choose at that point in time whether they were going to go forward or not. Even to look into it. And so that's something that the community council at that point in time did. Mm-hmm. And what this program is it allows the municipalities that made the choice to make a goal to be 100% renewable, have net renewable energy come from Rocky Mountain Power to the customers by 2030. It allowed them to be a part of that process. And probably Lorenzo knows a lot more about the process at this point in time. But I think it's the biggest thing because what it does is it makes clean energy the easy choice for people. And so I think that's one of the big things.
What does net mean?
Oh, sure. So, for example, if you have solar on your roof, you do something called net metering. So if you're generating more solar electricity at a time when you're not using it, it kind of goes to your neighbor's house. And what happens is that you have created that energy. Somebody else is using that energy. So for you, it's kind of like, oh, I've created that much energy within a year. So when people put solar on the home, they'll try to size it to meet 100%-ish of their needs, up to 100%. But if you go over that, it's just kind of giving free power to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, did that help?
Well, yeah,
Did
no,
that answer the
I
question?
know that like businesses will say they're net neutral or whatever, but they're buying credits, and I think that's cheating.
Oh, so that's a different, I would call that, what would I call that? That's kind of outsourcing, like you're buying offsets. That's an offset.
An offset.
So an offset and net is different.
Okay.
So if this program moves forward, and there's, I believe, 18 other communities that are moving forward on this as well, including like Mill Creek and Salt Lake City and some other ones as well. And it's a choice for everybody still now if they're going to move forward or not. And Ogden's in that same position. But with that, I think what happens is, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're good.
So I kind of went off on a tangent.
Lorenzo?
What's really cool about this program and the kind of net aspect of it is that, so you've got these 18 communities, right? And we're partnering with Rocky Mountain Power to actually create like either purchase existing or create brand new real world renewable energy. So that could be solar or wind, or I think geothermal qualifies. And basically, we're going to take the amount of customers that are in those 18 participating communities, figure out how much electricity those communities use, and then install an equivalent amount of actual real world renewable energy. So that's where that net zero, or net 100, I should say, renewable energy term comes from, because we will actually be offsetting the true amount of electricity usage with real world renewable energy. So it's a really unique program. It's the first of its kind, actually, in the country. No one else has done this. It's very innovative, very difficult to do, but we're doing it. And it's something that I would suspect if we succeed here in Utah, it could be a model that could be copied in other areas. So it's a huge opportunity, massive sustainability and energy impacts, and just really exciting to be a part of it, for sure.
Okay, Lorenzo, what do you do when you go to work every day? Like,
That's a good. I go up.
you log onto your computer and you pull up emails, of course, about what?
It kind of depends on the day, you know. I think
Because the new position for like the last year or so.
Yeah. So my position was created. Well, I started in January of 2023. So I'm the first person to occupy the position as sustainability coordinator.
Congrats on 1 year.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a very enjoyable year, actually. It's been awesome. Much, better than I could have ever expected. So, my position was actually created in large part due to repeated kind of requests from. We have a sustainability committee. It's actually called the Natural Resources and Sustainability Stewardship Committee, and it's a volunteer citizen committee, and they basically came to the city council and said, we think you should hire a dedicated staff person to run all of your sustainability programming and things of that nature. And credit to the city, they listened and put forth the funding and hired for the position. So I am the only full-time sustainability person at the city. So what that means is a very wide umbrella, right, of the things that I do. So if there's anything that comes to someone at the city and they think, oh, this is kind of seems like something in sustainability, they'll just send it to me, right? And so it depends on the day, but...
All right, what's the weirdest thing you've seen?
Weirdest thing I've seen? That, I don't think there's anything really weird that I've seen. There's a lot of interesting things, though, for sure. I mean, there's just a lot going on right now. It's a very fun time to work in sustainability, for sure. There's lots of federal money, lots of grants that are available. So that makes my job a lot easier, because a lot of times the first question is, when you come up with a project or an idea, is how are we going to pay for it, right? And now there's a lot more opportunity to get things funded. So one example that, and the city's kind of big on this right now is just vehicle electrification. So, you guys have probably heard a lot about electric vehicles right now, just in the news or whatever. And that may be good things or bad things, but
I really want a Cybertruck.
Oh, that would be
really
awesome,
do.
Right?
Yeah, they're like 100 and something grand, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure the city fleet could afford that.
Right. Well, if the fleet vehicles turn into Cybertrucks, I'm going to start asking some questions, because that's a lot of money.
Exactly. No, it's so yeah, electrification.
Maybe yours. Just you can have one.
I should get one.
Yeah, you should.
That makes a
be an
lot of
example.
sense.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to tell them there's some other people who think that should happen. That way it's not just me.
For the record, I did not say I wanted that. Don't include me in that.
All right. But yeah, so there's some interest in seeing what the city can do to prepare for just the increase in electric vehicles on the road. And so one thing that we have done recently is partner with Rocky Mountain Power, again on a grant that they offer, and that basically helps to pay for some of the costs of installing electric vehicle charging stations that are open to the public. And so we just recently completed the installation of two dual port level 2 electric vehicle charging stations. And what that basically means is 4 parking spots where electric vehicles can park and charge their cars at a relatively quick rate.
Are they proprietary, or because it was Tesla's only Teslas, or how does it work? Can anybody charge off of these, or how does it work?
It's an evolving situation as the industry kind of
because like Apple
forward.
had their own charging ports forever. So
So Teslas do have their own port right now. It's called NACS, the North American Charging Standard. And whereas other vehicles previously made by Chevy or Nissan or whoever had their own types of ports, now everyone is kind of moving to standardize the Tesla port.
the USB-C. That's what,
It is.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's happening with electric vehicles, which is really nice because it's kind of annoying. I mean, same thing with our phones when you need a charger and the only thing available is the
or an
one you
adapter.
have.
Can you even use adapters on that stuff?
You actually can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Same deal. Yep.
Okay.
It's kind of just a giant phone charger if you think about it that way. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's exciting. So there's energy sustainability, and then there's things like open spaces and trails. Is that talked about as well with the city?
It is, yeah. I think that, I think especially Ogden City, I mean, we have just absolutely incredible opportunities for recreation, outdoors, and hiking and things like that. We actually have, if I'm not mistaken, a trails committee.
We do,
Yeah. And I don't run that.
Ogden City Trails.
Yeah, I don't have any responsibility on that committee, but that is something that that's important to the city. But I actually haven't worked too much myself on the open space aspect of things. We have our parks department, and they handle a lot of that, along with the trails and things of that nature.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask one question about the chargers. Do they disappear? Like, 'cause in my house, those phone chargers.
I hope not.
I mean, you buy 10 adapters and then they're just gone and you don't know where they are.
If our chargers disappear, I don't think the city would ever put in any other chargers.
Yeah, but let's hope not.
Let's hope that doesn't.
Don't let my family near them.
My
There was one on 12th somewhere. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
It was in the bathroom. I swear. Well, why would you take the car charger to the bathroom?
Yeah. I don't,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the larger question, right?
Does anyone in here have an electric vehicle? No?
I do.
Oh, you do. Of course you would. What vehicle do you
I
have?
have a 2015 Chevy Volt.
Great car.
Really like it.
Great car.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I don't know what port that has, but maybe if you have an adapter, you can try out the new charging stations.
I don't know if I have an adapter. It usually seems to
That's
fit
like a
everywhere
really-
I
Where
take
are the
it.
new charging stations located?
Oh, that's a great question. It's in our municipal building parking lot, so 2549 Washington Boulevard, in the visitor parking section.
So you can go visit your uncle in the jail while you're charging your car.
Did I hear correctly recently? The jail is no longer in use or something like that?
Oh, is it?
No, something maybe.
Oh, rip.
Yeah.
Rip Joe.
Yeah.
I was gonna. That was almost like is that electric car pickup line where you're just like, what? Yeah, what port do you use? Well, I don't know. In the bars. So we have Shane Osguthorpe visit Ogden here. When I started Ogden Outdoor Adventure, it was like, let's promote Ogden as much as we can without promoting Ogden at all. And this is probably your job on the daily as far as visitation and things. And you've done studies on what that means. So how much can we grow? What is this all about? The study in the table of contents is really long. So what do you guys look at as far as the Visitation Bureau and sustainability, as far as how many people can live here, move here, play here, visit here, participate, that kind of thing?
Well, that's what this assessment was to do an assessment of our current sustainability levels. Like where do we stand as a community? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What have we ignored? What are we just knocking it out of the park with?
Right.
So that's what all this was, and then it involved resident input. Like how many people are we comfortable having at Pineview at a time? You know, how many?
3.
Yeah. What? Like, how long can we keep going up Powder Mountain Road before we have to really like figure something out with that road? Or,
Gone.
you know, yeah. I don't know. So a lot of that went into the assessment, just to figure out where we stand.
This was how old is this?
This is only about a year or so old.
Okay.
So this is just the assessment to figure out where we stand, and now we've just received funding to start the actual study. So now we'll have a different consulting group come in, and they will conduct a complete study of, and create a plan for us.
I just know
what is our plan moving forward.
We missed the ball because we're not consultants, so that's where all the money
right.
is. But anyway.
No, and they will just advise us. We'll together with community partners like Weber State and Ogden City and the county. We will all work together to figure out, okay. And tourism is a huge thing for us, obviously. It's 10% of our overall economy here in Weber County.
Yeah.
But it's a much bigger percentage of the cool things we love about this community. So like 40% of the restaurants are in business because of visitors. If visitors went away tomorrow, 40% of our restaurants would have to shut down. Ski resorts, more than half of our skiers.
That's a lot.
Yeah, more than half of our skiers are come from out of the area. So if we said no more, you can't come here anymore.
It's
one of
so
our,
much so
one of our two
I'm
resorts would have to
surprised
shut
when
down.
I'm on the gondola if I meet somebody from Ogden on the gondola.
Right.
That's how often it is.
Yeah.
They're usually, they could even just be at Park City or whatever, but they're usually not in Ogden.
And it gets really easy to blame visitors on when if you're waiting in traffic or if you're stuck for a bike race coming by or whatever. It's like it's all these darn visitors that are ruining everything. It's like so we want to be very careful that we don't cross those lines. That residents enjoy the benefits that come from the visitor economy without having to have all the burdens. So because really the visitor economy is a bunch of money coming in from out of town, getting dumped here, and then they go away. We don't have to plow their roads or educate their kids. Or take their trash out.
Yeah,
they left that money here, so it's that's how it equates to 10% of our economy.
They left it here. I like that.
They just come and leave their money. So we want them to do that, but we also don't want to just be overrun because that's a real issue in tourism. We all know of areas that have been completely overrun now that did not make sustainability efforts at all because it wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah,
they're like, let's just bring more and more and more, and suddenly they went, wait, our sewer capacity won't handle this, and our roads won't handle this, so.
Yeah, because you visit places all the time.
Yeah, and we watch our industry colleagues. We've seen Moab, we've seen Sedona, we've seen some of our nearby communities that have suffered with over-tourism. And so it's very important for us to put a plan in place to say, okay, how are we going to regulate? How can we disperse other visitors when they come? How can we, when do we need to turn the tap down a little bit? So we study that very cllosely all the time.
So you have a lot of marketing dollars that go to attract people to come to Ogden, but how much or what percentage, or if any, of your marketing dollars go to help educate the locals that it's important to have?
That's become a huge one of our pillars of communication now is education. Not only, and Pineview is the perfect example. Everyone likes to gripe about Pineview. It's all these visitors. It's like, well, trust me, nobody's pulling their giant boat from California to get on our little lake. These are locals that are overcrowding this. It's not visitors, but the visitors are going to take the brunt of it, right? What was your question?
How do you like Moab?
So
Moab,
education
education because you expect like Moab lives on tourism, but Ogden doesn't. We don't, as a resident, I don't think that we live on tourism, but it's very important. So how do we educate people, the residents of Ogden, that it's still important? Yeah,
we have huge sustainability initiatives that we do, all kinds of educational efforts, poster campaigns, because we're still a poster town. We're like everyone else goes electronic. We do a lot of social media stuff too, sustainability wise, but also we make posters to put at the trailheads that tell you how to, just simple reminders, leave no trace, pack it in, pack it out, messaging, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a huge, and we like to say that we're using visitor dollars to say we're communicating to visitors, but really we're just speaking to residents. It's like, hey, clean up after your dog and be nice to each other on the trail, and the residents need that as much as anybody, and we provide that communication channel.
So in the assessment, was there anything that stood out good or bad as far as sustainability, like what we're doing well or what needs improvement?
You're gonna make me thumb through the whole
thing? Well, I'll let you do that and think about it for a minute.
Well, if you follow me to section 3.2 subparagraph.
How unsustainable to print all that if you don't use it.
No, so in addition to like the transient room taxes that we pull from tourism, right? Part of your restaurant tax and all of your lodging taxes and stuff, that's a transient room tax that we collect, and that's how we market all this stuff. So another thing we've done to bolster that is we've created a thing called the Weber Sustainability Fund. So when we bring these bigger events in, like Spartan, for example, Spartan comes to Snow Basin, our office works with Spartan and says, will you agree to a $5 addition to your registration fee that you will then donate to the Weber Sustainability Fund? And then we take those funds for remediation efforts or for special projects in the area that might have been impacted. So, they pay Snow Basin to remediate that whole place back to normal, but they also leave this big pile of money. Every one of 10,000 participants leaves $5 for us.
Right.
And now we can say, good. Then when Snow Basin says, hey, we want to build this new trail, will you help us fund that? We help fund stuff like that. So it improves the residents' quality of life.
Well, if
mass
you want to,
gatherings
if you would
of
like to
visitors.
add another $5 to help get the word out through podcasting, we're here for that.
I'll give you $5
just so you know.
at the end of this,
yeah,
for sure.
$5 for every word spoken.
Yeah. No, that's great. So they add it to like a ticket price or something.
Yeah, and it's usually $5 is
Costing.
excessive. Usually it's like $1. Every marathon
$1.
entrant might get it, pay an extra $1, and then that money all goes to trash cleanup along the marathon route at some point.
Gotcha. Yeah. Smart.
Without being on the backs of residents. So
Yeah. I like it. Okay, Lena, what have you learned working here and doing this job over the past? How long have you been? Like about a year?
September.
Not even close. Okay.
Yeah. But
You can move that a little closer.
I have learned a lot, and I didn't know because I looked at the Visit Ogden website, so I'm curious, like, where do we find that data?
if you jumped on our website right now and just went to the search bar and typed in sustainability, you'll probably see a bunch of our content. A lot of blogs about it, a lot of informative stuff, probably this assessment. Yeah. It's definitely a key initiative of ours, sustainability, and how we develop, the tourism product here in Ogden. So
Okay, well, that was just a sidebar question.
Visit Ogden.com and then just search sustainability.
I have learned. What have I learned? Let me think here. I've learned how many people it's taken to get to the point where we're at with sustainability. Like with Lorenzo's job, how many people have sat on this council he's talking about, how Park City and Salt Lake and Moab are really establishments to look up to as far as their sustainability organizations in their cities. I've learned to look a little closer at what companies are actually doing and what they make you think they're doing. And
Like what? Like how do they cheat the system?
they call it greenwashing.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Will you define that so that people listening know what greenwashing is?
And then please give us a top 10 list of Ogden.
Yeah.
greenwasher.
We need to know who the top 10 green.
I will do no such thing.
No, but what does it mean
Yeah, what does it mean?
actually?
Mostly giving people the idea that you're doing more for a situation than you're actually doing.
Okay.
Lip service. It's a little,
Yeah. Greenwashing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Greenwashing. Now I forgot the second part of the question.
Well, no, I just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
And so that's probably good.
Yeah, I've learned to look at that. I've learned to look at there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, right?
Yeah.
The state of Utah was working with an initiative for Amazon purchasing that you could dig deeper into the companies that you're purchasing from on Amazon to see what their practices really are as far as sustainability goes. I mean, I think that's a pretty novel idea.
It's
Yeah.
a great,
'Cause I
sounds
know-
like a great resource.
I know I look
Yeah.
for it, but it's something that you can opt into. You don't have to do, but I mean, I think that's a great resource and something that you wouldn't really think about. So. I also learned there's a lot of awesome people that are trying really hard to get stuff done. So
Yeah. Yeah. And Bonnie's been working on this for a year, right? Now, how long does it take you to get ready for each event?
It takes us about 9 months.
About 9 months.
And, that's and the last 6 months are pretty solid jumping in and trying to make this happen, which is also surprising.
Case
How long
knows
it
because
takes.
Case
Okay.
produces an event essentially for that lasts a month, and it's statewide, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you promote it? And I mean, we're on a podcast, but yeah, how do you get the word out about all of this? All the great stuff going on.
A lot of the stuff that we do is really reach out to our partners that we've worked with before, and they help us market it. Like we have a marketing budget of zero. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is us going out, talking to the people that we've worked with before or are in collaboration with, and it's really been a word of mouth event. So that's a lot of our marketing is working with folks. And Lena has been great over here because she's like, oh, I know all these people, and she's going out and talking to folks. And then we have partners like
She's like the Paul Revere of sustainability.
Ogden's very small. You guys know that. You touch one thing and it touches like 7.
Well, but it depends on who you know, and Lena knows all the right people, and that helps spread the word. So it's important. Yeah.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Case, do you have any other questions about the sustainability conference? What do you call it?
It's called the Summit.
Summit, yeah, coming up.
Did we define dates already? And did we define where, when, and starts and finishes?
Sure. So March 21st is kind of our main day. And that is a day where we have 16 sessions and keynote speaker who this year I'm really excited about. once again, Lena found this guy, and his name is Jeff Speck. He is a urban planner and wrote the book Walkable City. It's been translated to, I can't remember, 8 languages? 8 languages. It's all around the world. So he's going to be coming and talking about walkable cities. And I'm super excited because there's all these people that want to meet him afterwards to talk about what we can do here in Utah.
Yeah.
So that's the main day. We also have an Eco Expo Hall, a student poster contest. We have students from Weber State that kind of take the theme and do art for this event. Cool. So there's a bunch of art as well. So it's a pretty big day. And then March 22nd is our workshop day, where it's a lot slower pace. It's just kind of come, sit, really absorb the information, where we have these 4-hour workshops where people can really kind of dive deeper that want to do that.
There's also a party. Everyone loves the party.
There's also a party.
There's also a party, and God bless Ogden.
Ogden.
Ogden knows how to party.
Ogden knows how to party. Yeah.
It feels like we're a scooterable city. It's like,
Those are pretty dangerous. I've seen a lot of things.
you got a thumbs down on that. Really? Why is that? No?
I'm just not a big fan of the scooters. You know, they look bad.
Man, they rip
get
up
put
and
in
down these
rivers.
streets.
You know,
Oh, that's true.
they can light on fire because those batteries not so great.
Everything gets
you know?
put in the river.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Only in Ogden.
oh,
Yeah.
Maybe if they were docked scooters that
Docked
didn't,
scooters,
they had to
yeah.
get put back into a place.
They're saying you want to put docks along the river, so they
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, exactly.
tie them up
Then
to
you
the
can
dock,
throw it from
then
a dock,
throw them in.
right? Yeah.
We can just hoist them in from the anchor rope.
Well, if we put jet skis on the river, that would take what everybody's trying to do. You know, like after a long night, they're like, I think I could make this scooter a jet ski. And if we put jet skis there, the need is filled.
oh.
Yeah.
Well, we do have
Electric jet skis.
We
Like
do
bikes.
have what's it called? Green bikes here at the city, which are docked
Yes.
bikes that can be used by anybody. You just create a little account on an app, and then you can unlock the bike and go ride around, which is really great for Ogden's downtown area. That's where they're all kind of located in the general downtown area. Really good resource. So I do like those. Those are really awesome.
Are they electric?
Have something to say.
I think they had said they were planning on putting some e-bikes on there. I'm not sure if they're in there yet, but they did tell me they had plans to do that in the future. But that was like last year, so maybe there are some.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were e-bikes, but be advised, if you get on an e-bike, the first time you spin that pedal, you go real fast.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll leave the story where
And you went fast.
I went real fast.
Did you stop? Yeah.
Did you go real far?
Did you go fast?
Did you go somewhere without the bike? That's when it gets scary.
Anywho,
Yeah.
carry on.
Shane, anything else on sustainability and what Visit Ogden does to help with sustainability in Ogden?
Yeah, in our industry, there's what's called the Mountain Ideal. It's an industry standard for mountain towns. You can probably envision in your head the towns that are probably doing it right and getting high scores. The town,
Telluride.
Yeah, Telluride is one of those. It's probably one of those highest level Mountain Ideal towns. That's the one we're working toward. We did our diagnostic on that. They looked into us. We're hitting at a 0.49, so we're right in the middle of the pack. We're doing some things great. There's a couple things and just in full transparency, there's a couple things that we got dinged on. One was stewardship planning, which is why our stewardship plan is going to be launched in May, and we'll start doing that. We're hoping to get that score up because we've basically been running this by our gut, knowing what we love, knowing from our gut, figuring out how to take care of it because we're residents, right? This will be a very data-driven, informative plan. And no, you need to do this to this road or to this thoroughfare or to this recreation asset or whatever. So we'll have a plan in place. The other one we got ding dong was visitor management, and that was just.
What does that mean?
I think it has to do with one way up to Powder Mountain. It's hard to you can get people trapped on the mountain. There's if you have a temporary road closure in Ogden Valley for a bike race or a marathon, you have disrupted a lot of people's lives for an entire day. So there's some visitor management things that we'll be working on to get that improved as well. So yeah, the thing is we're trying to get that up into that high green score on the Mountain Ideal and become one of those destinations that.
What are you ideal at?
Well, stewardship planning, regulatory framework, all these issues right here, cultural heritage, infrastructure, marketing, communications, which we crushed at, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're really good at
really
communicating
good
it, but we're not, we got to get better at planning for how we're going to deal with it. So that's what we're working on.
I like it. Okay. Very good. Thanks for joining us. Anything else we need to know about the Sustainability Summit coming up?
You can still register.
Yeah. Good
Find the-
classes, courses, or
Yep, in the link
chats. And,
down there.
You
Yeah.
should probably tell them where the party is and when. That's
yeah, when's
you
the
know.
party?
You have to RSVP.
Okay, there you go. Ogden must be present to win.
But it's going to be fun, and it's a lot of our local businesses that are supporting it, and
Where's it at?
the Utah
Is it-
Sustainable Business Coalition. They are co-hosting it with us. Where is it at?
Yeah.
It's in the heart of downtown Ogden.
Okay, or you have to RSVP to find out. Okay. All right. Yeah, 3 knocks and a.
Yep.
Yeah. That's not the first
Just
time that
like to
happened
be
in this
elusive.
town.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I appreciate all of you coming into the show and chatting about sustainability. I'm always curious about how we, like, water is a big thing, people is a big thing,
Food reclamation.
food reclamation.
Regenerative agriculture.
There, see, big words. Yeah.
We'll come back. If you want to
Do a deep dive into
Let's do a post summit debrief on
Yeah.
We're in.
everything that happens. Yeah.
I want to make one plug here too. We have, like I mentioned before, our Natural Resources and Sustainability Stewardship Committee, which is, as I said, a volunteer citizen committee. I'm the staff liaison on that. And we have a couple of open spots that we were trying to fill.
There we go.
So,
All right.
Yeah, we're looking for someone who lives in District 2, which you may or may not know if you
Yeah,
live
you know
in
who you
District
are.
2.
D2.
Yeah, District 2. It's basically kind of northwest Ogden-ish area. So
They always do well in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
there you go. Yep. It's Councilman Hires district, if you know who your council person is.
the wood people?
Yeah.
Wood people.
So we're looking for someone from District 2. And then also we have a dedicated spot for someone who is a business owner in Ogden City. So
Within Ogden City.
Within Ogden City. So definitely, if you are listening to this, you either really like this podcast or you care about sustainability or both. So I think that you'd probably be a good person to apply to the committee. And then we also have 3 spots for high school students. So if you have
cool.
a child or someone that you know that
Very
is in
cool.
high school that is interested in this, it's a really good resume builder. And I just personally would really like to have that youth energy and optimism, on the committee, and it would be great. So
Where would they find that application?
that's a great question. It'll be on the Ogden City website. So you can just search in Google Ogden Sustainability and it will bring up our webpage. It's pretty well optimized on Google. And then you'll see a link to a sustainability committee and then you can
Very cool.
find the application from there. So definitely apply. We would love to have anyone on there.
Love it. Love it, Case. This is the part of the program where you get to talk about yourself.
No thanks.
No, but it
Done
is.
a lot of that lately. I feel like that.
This
so
is
yeah.
where,
I want to hear about you.
Todd talks about the arts or anything that's going on in the arts in Ogden. I didn't prep you for that.
Oh, sure.
But-
So we got multiple things going on in Ogden. One of them is in conjunction with, it's a Humanities in the Wild event that's on April 18th. It's the Weber State University Writers Workshop, which is their creative writing department, has invited multiple poets from Boise State. So we'll be doing Humanities in the Wild up on the trail. So they'll read poetry. We'll have a biologist and environmentalist. So our program there really does that both things. We bring in literature and we bring in ists to chat about it. And we'll do that here in Ogden. We do that across the state too. So you're welcome to look at the UtahHumanities.org to see any more Humanities in the Wild. And our goal with this is really to use authors and literature to open up to larger conversations about our environment and saving our environment. So that's the big one on the agenda for Ogden. There'll be another event in May at the Bird Refuge, doing the same type of thing, Humanities in the Wild. We'll have multiple authors as well as scientists to talk about the Bird Refuge and where it is right now, especially with the lake water, what's going on with the lake. So yeah, absolutely. Follow us on Facebook. We will put follow us on Facebook and Instagram. All of those events will be coming. Utah Humanities. And all those events are really, really cool. And there's Humanities in the Wild events across the state that we're doing the exact same thing, trying to get people out into the wild and recognize the beauty of it and why we have to save it and protect it, and doing it through poetry and literature. So,
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That was great.
That wasn't about me, which is fantastic.
That was a really, really good answer, though. Shane, any other events that you want to chat about?
A couple big things still on the art side. You've got the new Copper and Oak music series that's going on down at Copper Nickel. That is definitely worth checking out. I went to the first one. It was with Sammy Brew, Marnie Proudfit, and John Burroughs. Fantastic turnout, but I think that was a lot of free tickets. But the tickets aren't that expensive.
No.
And I've heard sales are really kicking along for this next one, which is Christian Scheller and Mel Soul. And I can't remember who else. Do you remember? Yeah. Once a month. Check it out. That's the Copper and Oak series at the Copper Nickel. And then Deanne and Patty have put together that Femmes Folk series all month long for Women's History Month down at the Lighthouse Lounge. So it's all female bands and stuff like that hanging out. So that's one to check out every Friday, Saturday night down there. So
I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
Ogden-based. Our Railtown reading for this month is March 20th at the main library. We'll have Brad Rogar, who was our first poet laureate for the state of Ogden.
And I attended his Writing on the Land course, which was very cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is it was a Weber State student who actually created the Ogden City Poet Laureate program. That same Weber State student now has Happy Magpie Book down, and Patrick Ramsey is the most amazing person. And Brad Rogar will be reading with a bountiful native who now is in Cedar City, Natalie Padilla-Young, on March 20th at the main library. If I didn't say that, the Ogdenites would come after me. Yeah, but that's the Railtown readings. If you haven't gone, there's an open mic at the end, and then we usually fill up that library space, which is really, really cool.
I know the Arts Committee is extending an invitation for our current poet laureate to another term.
Good. Yeah. She should go back to that.
Angelica's looking, and so we're waiting on her answer, but we assume she'll say yes on that.
Good.
But that also, I want to put another plug in for what he mentioned about city committees. If you have any inkling at all, please serve on city committees. It's a little bit like Parks and Rec sometimes. It can be humorous and weird, but a lot of the things that happen in this city they start at the committee level.
Yeah.
There simply just aren't staffers enough to do all that needs to be done, and committees are the ones that steer this city. So if you have an inkling for sustainability at all, I would take him up on that offer and jump on that.
And if you look at it, that's where I met Brandon. That's where I met Shane, is city committees, and we've done so much stuff in the arts since. And
Stuff.
But I second that. It's awesome.
Sorry, I lost your camera. I don't know why it turned off.
Who, me?
While you were talking. Yeah. Want to give a shout out to this Friday is the last Locals Rock here at the Monarch Building. There's 7 bands, I believe. So we have 3 for van sessions, and then 4 upstairs.
Nice.
This Friday.
Those are great shows too.
$10, green beer.
And if you haven't been to one of those shows at the Monarch, come down, because that room used to be really hard to play in. It reverberated like crazy. No musician liked it. I'm sure the listeners didn't love it, but it's been all sound treated, and it sounds so much better now.
Is this out here?
Yeah, up in the Royal Room.
Oh, up in the Royal Room.
Yep.
Yeah, so those shows are worth checking out. You can hear them now. They really.
You can hear them now, which is very important. Yeah.
You did say all ages, right?
All ages. It's all ages. $10 a pop, and
they're cool shows.
There's bars, and so you can, we figured it out in Utah. It's weird because I just came back from Vegas. I'm like, I can leave the establishment with my drink in hand. Weird, but it is like mixed ages where there's bars with kids, but because we have wristbands and we do all the legal things that you're supposed to do here at the Monarch to make it right, that's how it is. And so but the concerts are upstairs and downstairs, and then there's a bar upstairs and downstairs, so it's fun, it's great, it's a good time. $10, I mean, come on out. Yeah. All right, so that is a wrap. I think we will close up the show. Thanks for this episode. Thank you to Banyan One. That's this trailer right here for powering this episode of Ogden Arts Adventure Show. I don't know how sustainable the trailer is. We're going to have to work on that.
I think these are LED lights.
They're LED lights, yeah.
We'll get a little solar panel.
The sun does shine.
There's the whole. It's the reduce, reuse, recycle. This whole thing would have been in a dump somewhere if you hadn't saved it and made it.
Saved it.
Yeah,
Totally did.
That's exactly.
Oh, yeah. So listen and subscribe to the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. bandcollective.com. If you want to be on the podcast, hit me up on my Instagram, slide into my DMs at Ogden Adventure. No one's done it yet. So I don't know if I've been Case is laughing.
I feel like I did it.
Yeah. Case, thanks for filling in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Did a wonderful job. This week's Outdoor Jukebox is a sweet little ditty by a wonderful young man, Branson Anderson, called Colorado. This was as recorded on Van Sessions at the Monarch. We'll see you on the next Ogden Arts and Adventure Show.
I'm playing the good one, Mike. Fighting the good fight. He keeps an ivory-handled razor, cleaned and honed and stropped. He says he loved a girl when he was young and never stopped. He's a centaur on his motorcycle. He sent you for a little while. You'll see him as he goes out for a ride. I'm told he's lived in every town from New York to Nebraska. They say he's skinning trucks right now from Jersey to Nevada. A roving, raving pilgrim like the winds of cold Chicago. He stays his heart in Tennessee, but they call him Colorado. Saddlebags are stuffed with poetry about his travels, and he sifts through them most constantly like television channels. You can use them for your kindling. When his wheel's no longer spinning, you can see him as he goes out for a ride. And I'm told he's lived in every town from New York to Nebraska. They say he's skinning trucks right now from Jersey to Nevada. A roving, raving pilgrim like the winds of cold Chicago. He stays his heart in Tennessee, but they call him Colorado. Thank you.
Love it so much.
Thank you very much.